Which ones are drawn? You have to bring on the knife for that. Which one do you think?
You can't even tell.
Yeah, that one. Even Doritos come under his artistic spell. That's kind of cool.
That is something.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks. News 3 at 5 starts right after this.
Right now at 5, how targeted ICE arrests in Madison are affecting many local businesses.
Plus, how other businesses in Madison are preparing in case they find themselves in an active shooter situation.
And how Dane County officials are helping the community after the devastating flooding that happened last month.
This is News 3 at 5.
All right, we just had an update in a little bit. We're going to get more updates with Gary. We had a severe thunderstorm watch throughout the afternoon, but things are changing.
Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. That's some good news.
Yeah, the severe thunderstorm watch has just been canceled for our entire viewing area. That line of storms moved through pretty quickly, and it's a good thing that it moved a little farther south, because take a look at high-resolution Doppler radar. A number of severe thunderstorm warnings through the Chicago metro area. This line of thunderstorms is producing winds in excess of 80 miles per hour, and has produced some widespread wind damage over parts of northern Illinois. Those storms are moving through the Chicago metro area, but we're just on the northern fringes of this line of storms, and it's moving very rapidly. In fact, most of the rain is starting to move out of Dane County and eastward toward Milwaukee. So expect the thunderstorm threat as well as the severe weather threat to pretty much be ending as we speak. Low temperatures this morning started out around 60 degrees, a few places in the upper 50s. High temperatures were in the mid to upper 70s ahead of the cold front that brought the thunderstorms. Milwaukee and Kenosha touched 80 degrees, but take a look where temperatures are now. Here in Madison, we're only a degree above our low temperature for the day, as temperatures have dropped almost 15 degrees as the line of showers and storms move through, and temperatures are mainly in the 50s to our north and west. You can certainly see the wind shift from the southwest to the northwest as that line of thunderstorms moves off toward the east. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the middle 40s, and look for a partly sunny but chilly day tomorrow. High temperatures only in the upper 50s. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. We now know 12 people have been arrested by federal immigration agents in Madison just since Friday.
City officials say they believe today will be the last day ICE is in the area, but they are not sure because they haven't communicated with local law enforcement. That fear is affecting many of our local businesses, and Amanda Quintana is here with more on that.
Yes, well, ICE being here has caused a few of our local businesses to shut down over the last few days. Employees not coming in out of fear, often hearing rumors of raids. So today, business owners met with attorneys at the Latino Chamber of Commerce to ask what they should do if ICE shows up at their business. Even though ICE says they are targeting one employer, they can also ask others who are there for their identification, leading to more arrests. Attorneys say you put yourself at risk when you start speaking with the agents and can accidentally say things that they can use against you.
How far they will go, that is the part we're also trying to clarify. Like if this is happening in a kitchen and they're gonna go to all the tables where everybody's having a happy meal, most likely that is not gonna happen.
Out of today's meeting, leaders agreed they should keep their businesses open, stick together, and continue their contributions to our local economy. Just be aware of their rights, like what to look for in a warrant, but they don't want fear to stop them from running their businesses. City officials don't know a lot about the list ICE has of people they are here to arrest, but they say that this does not seem like arrests in the past where they were just targeting violent criminals. They say this feels very different.
All right, Amanda Quintana, thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Madison School District knows it's not easy to talk about these arrests with family, but officials say it is an important conversation to have with your children. The district wants families to know that their kids are safe on school grounds. ICE officials are not allowed to have any contact with students without a parent's permission. The district has formed an internal work group so families can get all the help they need. Officials say it's important for students to receive support in times like these. That includes finding the best way to talk to all children, not just the ones directly impacted by these arrests, about a very complicated yet scary topic for many.
Creating that space for children to just kind of talk out loud with adults and help process, I think is really important. Because you have conversations, right? And families should know, and students should know that they have a partner in us to engage in those conversations.
The district says it's working with the schools to ensure student information is protected.
The Madison Police Department is asking for help in identifying teenagers who ran from a crashed stolen SUV this afternoon. Police say 3 teenagers were inside a stolen SUV when it ran a red light around 1:20 at the intersection of Mineral Point Road and South Gammon Road. Police say the SUV was also speeding just before the collision. Surveillance video shows the SUV T-boning another vehicle on its driver's side. Before the SUV comes to a complete stop, the 3 teens got out of the blue SUV and ran north on Gammon. Officers say no one was seriously injured. Anyone with information is asked to contact Madison area Crime Stoppers.
In the aftermath of the workplace shooting in Middleton last week, other businesses in our area are preparing in case they ever find themselves in that same situation.
The head of WTS Paradigm says the Middleton software company has never done an active shooter training. News 3's Rose Schmidt watched one of those training sessions today and is here to tell you what you need to know. Rose?
Well, over the last week, about 30 businesses have contacted Dane County requesting active shooter training. And Dane County deputies tell me that's not a surprise. They often have an influx in requests after events like what happened at WTS Paradigm last week, when an employee opened fire on several of his coworkers. Today, deputies hosted 2 training sessions at St. Mary's Hospital. The sessions were planned months ago. The hospital's president says he's hoping his employees have the skills to take care of their patients, and that means both medical and safety needs.
Unfortunately, we've seen more and more active shooters, including in healthcare organizations. So we believe it's important for our employees to understand how to respond in events. Again, we hope they never have to use these skills, but we certainly want them to be educated in the event that something does occur.
Deputies say businesses and schools hold trainings for fires and tornadoes, and this is just another situation that they have to prepare for. They encourage people to know where exits are at work and know which doors lock. And should you ever find yourself in this situation, run if you can. Otherwise, you should find a safe place to hide. As a last resort, you should attempt to fight the shooter. On News 3 at 6, we'll hear from one of the deputies in charge of active shooter training who actually responded to the situation in Middleton last week.
All right, Rose Schmidt live in the news center. Thank you.
UW-Madison Chancellor Rebecca Blank is on standby to testify once again in a federal lawsuit brought by student athletes against the NCAA. A reporter from Law 360, a news outlet covering the trial out in California, said attorneys representing the NCAA claim that Blank contradicted a statement she made on the stand in early September with a written statement provided by communications staff from the UW to News 3. The reporter tweeted this morning that Blank is now on standby via video to testify once again in that case.
Well, city officials are considering their next moves after the Janesville fire chief submitted his resignation today.
That news comes as the Janesville Fire Union is in a legal battle with the city. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joining us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette to tell us whether these two things are related. Adam?
Well, in a statement today, Fire Chief Randy Banker says the two are not related, despite the fact his resignation comes during the peak of a nearly 7-month-long labor dispute between the city of Janesville and the Janesville Fire Department. Now, Fire Chief Randy Banker took over as the Janesville Fire Chief in the beginning of 2016, and in just the last few days, contract disputes over personal benefits for firefighters escalated in the department, filing a complaint against the city. Now, in his resignation statement, Banker says he's confident that that issue will be resolved, but says his decision was, quote, solely independent of the contract issue. Now, we talked to the head of the firefighters union about how the city firefighters are taking the news.
It wasn't really too much of a surprise. I wish that he would stick around a couple more years. I think he's done a lot of good for this department and has kind of pointed this department in a good direction. But it's not a complete surprise that he's leaving.
Dascom says he thought the chief had some personal issues with the way things were operated between the city and the department, but at this point there's no clear reason as to why Fire Chief Randy Banker is resigning, other than to say that it's not related to the dispute. Now, coming up at 6, we'll hear more about this dispute between the city of Janesville and the Janesville Fire Department that has people wondering whether or not these two things are related today.
All right, Adam Duxter in Rock County tonight. Adam, thank you.
A security official for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security says no new threats against the election security in Wisconsin have been detected to date ahead of the November midterm election. Wisconsin was the target of Russian hackers before the 2016 election. Federal and state officials said Wisconsin's election systems were not compromised, but the state and Elections Commission have taken numerous steps since then to increase security.
It takes 2 weeks for 2 inches of water to move through our lakes, and that's according to the Dane County Executive. We saw some of that from the recent flooding that devastated so many communities.
Now, Dane County is putting $18 million towards flood recovery and prevention efforts. Our Jamie Perez shows us the impact this will have for flooding in the future.
The water levels here at the lake are still pretty high. Obviously, a lot of residents that live along here, plus other areas, are dealing with the aftermath of the recent floods. But now, Dane County is doing something about it. Homes along West Brittingham Place were just some of those affected by the recent floods. Mark Blank lives along this street, and he's happy to hear the county is putting forth the efforts and money to provide some help.
Giving us some relief from the high water.
Some relief in the form of $18 million.
I think it's a good start.
That money will help
increase our resiliency, improve lake health, and bolster our infrastructure and emergency preparedness.
So how is that money being used? Well, $1 million goes towards stormwater controls, $1 million towards flood and trail restoration, $9 million towards conservation, $2.5 million towards a Suck the Muck project, plus more.
More of a comprehensive plan for us to get some relief.
We must adapt, we must mitigate, we must focus on prevention and preparedness.
When emergencies strike,
always a challenge there.
We need to be ready to respond, and this is how we're tackling it.
Our communities have been through a lot, and for many, the work to rebuild has just begun.
$18 million sure is a lot of money. Hopefully, this investment that they're making can prevent this and other damage from happening in the future. In Madison, I'm Jamie Perez for WISC News 3.
And for a full list of how that $18 million is being divided, you can check out our website at channel3000.com.
There's more to come on News 3 at 5 up next. Disgraced comedian Bill Cosby has been sentenced now. We'll tell you how long he will spend behind bars.
Plus, Judge Brett Kavanaugh's accuser set to testify in front of Congress on Thursday. What both sides of the aisle are saying ahead of the hearing.
Well, let's take a look at stocks on this Tuesday. The Dow losing almost 70 points. The NASDAQ up 14. The S&P lost almost 4. We'll be right back. The man who was at one time known as America's Dad is heading to prison for sexual assault.
Bill Cosby will spend 3 to 10 years in prison. The disgraced comedian was convicted early this year for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constad 14 years ago at his Pennsylvania mansion. Cosby's attorneys asked for house arrest, arguing the legally blind Cosby is too old and helpless to do time in prison.
He used his acting skills and that endearing TV personality to win over his victims and then keep them silent about what he did to them. So now finally, Bill Cosby has been unmasked and we have seen the real man as he is headed off to prison.
The judge declared Cosby a, quote, sexual violent predator. That means the 81-year-old must register as a sex offender and must undergo counseling for the rest of his life.
Senators say they are eager to hear from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford on Thursday, the first person to come forward and accuse Judge Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct, but both sides are accusing the other of playing politics.
That vague, unsubstantiated, and uncorroborated allegations of 30-plus-year-old misconduct is nowhere near grounds to nullify someone's career or destroy their good name.
To say they're making it up, to discredit their sincere testimony is nothing more than a partisan hit job. Leader McConnell owes an apology to Dr. Ford for labeling her allegations a smear job.
Democrats are calling for an FBI investigation to get to the truth.
President Trump spoke before the United Nations General Assembly today and praised America's track record since he took office. He spoke about America's booming economy and said the country is now standing up to the world, where a year ago he derided the North Korean leader as Little Rocket Man. This year he noted the breakthrough in relations.
I would like to thank Chairman Kim for his courage and for the steps he has taken, though much work remains to be done.
At the United Nations, Iran's president told the General Assembly the U.S. should return to negotiations and that America's sanctions amount to economic terrorism.
All right, we go to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti on the backyard patio. After a line of storms rolled through, we're now in the clear a bit, Gary.
Pretty much so, yeah. The rain stopped in the backyard. Actually seeing some breaks in the clouds here, so but it is noticeably cooler, and to get used to it because that cool weather will be around for a while. The southern end of the line of storms is where all the action has been across northern Illinois, much of the Chicago metropolitan area under severe thunderstorm warnings as that line of storms sweeps eastward. And you can see some of the severe weather reports in Oregon, Illinois, southwest of Rockford. A number of trees reported down as a line of thunderstorms with winds estimated about 70 to 80 miles per hour swept through much of northern Illinois. That's where all the severe weather reports have been. You can see how that line of storms moved eastward very rapidly through southern Wisconsin, but now the severe thunderstorm watch has been scaled back to just the Milwaukee area and right along the lake shore, and that'll probably be canceled within the next hour or so as those storms sweep out into Lake Michigan. Farther to the west, you don't see much upstream, so we'll be looking at generally dry weather for tomorrow, but temperatures will be much cooler. In fact, you look at the high temperature trend over the next 7 days, we'll be in the upper 50s for tomorrow, low 60s on Thursday, upper 50s again on Friday, around 60 on Saturday, low 60s on Sunday. We'll have to wait until Monday of next week to see temperatures slightly above normal, and then there are signs that toward the end of next week, temperatures could get even chillier. Live here from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. The rain has ended there. Saw some sunshine earlier, but it looks like the clouds have filled back in. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the east. You can see just a little patch of blue overhead there, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing a little sun trying to filter through the clouds, but the rain is east of all three of those cameras. The almanac for today shows a high of 75 degrees before the storms arrived. Low temperature this morning at 60, but right now we're just above that at 61. A few showers still being reported at the airport. Winds out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour and the humidity at 97%. You can definitely see the wind shift along that line of thunderstorms. Winds are out of the southwest through the Chicago area and generally have shifted to the northwest across Wisconsin, Minnesota, and most of Iowa. So that's the cold front that's coming through. High temperatures ahead of the storms, like I say, 75 in Madison. Milwaukee topped out at 80 to the north and west. They were behind the front to start with, and temperatures only were in the 50s and 60s. And take a look at the current temperatures. Down to near 50 in Superior, upper 40s in northern Minnesota. Milwaukee's still at 77, but the storms are coming through there. And here in Madison, like I say, about a 13 degree temperature drop just in the last 24 hours. So you can see the effect that cold front has had on the temperatures. Dew points also are in the lower to middle 60s along and ahead of the cold front. They drop quite a bit to the north and west, so the air dries out. That will lead to cooler nights with low temperatures generally in the 40s. So So our forecast for tonight, showers and thunderstorms will end, then it'll turn partly cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Low temperature dropping to 46. For tomorrow, look for partly sunny skies, but a cooler day. High temperature only at 59. As we look at future track, you can see those showers and storms moving on out. Skies turning partly cloudy overnight with lows in the middle 40s. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies. High temperatures only making it to the upper 50s. Tomorrow night, with clear skies for much of the night, will drop into the middle 40s. And then for Thursday, it'll turn cloudy with showers, especially in the afternoon. High temperatures in the lower to middle 60s. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll see those temperatures remain on the cool side through the weekend. High temperatures upper 50s Friday, around 60s Saturday, low 60s on Sunday. Some shower chances Friday afternoon, and then again late Sunday into Sunday night. Monday will be a little milder with a storm system bringing us some showers and thunderstorms. Highs around 70. Those showers ending on Tuesday morning. Another storm system Wednesday of next week, bringing some more shower and thunderstorm chances, followed by even cooler weather at the end of next week. Highs by Friday in the mid 50s. There are some signs that by the following weekend, it could be cold enough for some patchy frost, at least in a few of the low-lying spots. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, the live view from the DOT camera at the Beltline and Park Street, traffic moving fairly slow. The rain has just moved out of the area, so the roads are still wet. Right now, we're seeing some delays in the westbound direction beginning around Fish Hatchery Road going back almost all the way to Monona Drive. Eastbound, the delays start around West Broadway and go back to around Verona Road. As far as travel times are concerned, about 25 to 26 minutes in either direction between University Avenue and the interstate on the Beltline. As you're heading out of Madison down toward Janesville, expect a 28-minute commute on I-3990 from the Beltline down to Janesville. About 20 minutes out to Sauk City and to Sun Prairie on US 12 and US 151 East Washington Avenue. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, good news. Thank you, Gary.
Welcome.
Still ahead at 5, how a chef in the Netherlands is using technology to change the way we eat. That's when News 3 at 5 returns. Stay with us.
News
3D printers are being used in hospitals, auto assembly lines, factories, and now even to make food.
Roxana Saberi visited a restaurant in the Netherlands that is using the technology to create unique dishes for customers.
In the pastures of his parents' farm, Jan Smink, a top Dutch chef, is going back to the basics.
Our typical fresh or local ingredients.
To create a new culinary future.
We use it, but we transform it into a little bit modern version.
Modern because he's a pioneer in printing food.
And then you're gonna print
3D printers don't actually cook meals, but they pump pureed ingredients. So you're using cauliflower now?
Yeah.
Into layer upon layer of delicate designs.
You can make shapes, what you can't make by hand.
Like an avocado octopus, or meat bowls filled with curry sauce. Michelin-starred chefs have printed dishes before, and the University of Utah Hospital now prints meals for patients with problems swallowing solid food. But Smink is the first to give printed food a permanent place in each course on the menu. Why 3D food printing?
Something extra for my guests to surprise them.
Does it change the food itself?
It don't change anything about the flavor, for example.
Nina Hoff says the printers provided by her company Biflow are easier to use than many chefs think.
Many restaurants are scared of technology in their kitchens.
If dishes like these prove popular, and the devices, each nearly $4,000, get cheaper, Pixels to Plate could improve nutrition and fight waste by transforming unappealing food into tasty works of art. What is your dream dish that you'd like to make using one of these printers?
That we print the face of the guests, eatable, like a nice flavor, and make a dish of it at the end of the night.
Eat your face as dessert.
Yeah, yeah.
He says if you mix a dash of inspiration with a touch of technology, anything's possible. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Wolfika, the Netherlands.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, a look at Bill Cosby's future behind bars and how his lawyer says he'll appeal. And we have an extraordinary Eye on America report from Jim Axelrod tonight, putting together the puzzle of a life lost too soon. That is tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Gary's here now. The rain pretty much moving away.
Yeah, that squall line swept through very quickly. In fact, you can see it's pushing out into Lake Michigan and through the Chicago area with high winds down there. But around here, it's the cooler weather taking hold. Milwaukee's at 74. They're right along the line of storms, but Madison's dropped to 61, and temperatures are in the middle 50s to our west. Tomorrow, temperatures probably won't get out of the 50s, and we'll be in the upper 50s to the lower 60s through the weekend. A brief warm up early next week, and then more cooler toward the end of next week, and periodic shower chances over the next 7 to 10 days.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
Nice,
Okay,
cool.
thanks, Gary.
All right, I'll be back in 30 minutes. Mark, thanks for helping out tonight at 5. And the CBS Evening News coming your way next. Stand by.